thank you for attending this evening's holiday jazz concert. This is our second, hopefully annual. Our combos this year will be joining the two jazz bands. And just a few housekeeping announcements. First of all, if you came in through the front doors over here, in the event of an emergency, we also have exits along the sides that you can utilize. You do not have to go back out the doors you came in. We are recording this tonight, so if you have little ones, we love them. But if they get a little rowdy, a little jumpy, because the music is exciting, just take them into the lobby, let them come down a little bit, and then you're more than welcome to come back in. We do ask that if you do exit or enter, please do it in between songs. It gets a little disruptive with the doors clanking and banging back in the back over there. We are recording this tonight, so the students will have recordings available. Usually takes a couple of days, but by some point next week, I'll put them up on the Teams page for the kids for them to listen to. And we are also being videotaped today, so put your cell phones away. Put them on silent, put them in your pocket, put them in your purse. You don't have to stand there and, this is my little baby, oh. Use your eyes, don't look at the screen, look at your child. Okay, so we're gonna kick it off with the first of the two brand new Brockton High School jazz combos. The first one is under the direction of our, I forget what school he's at. East Middle School band director, Mr. Tomas Campbell. Unfortunately, he could not be here this evening, so these guys are going to run it themselves. And so I give you the Brockton High School jazz combo under the direction of Mr. Campbell.
Hello? Hello? Oh, it's on. Okay. We started our sets with a hymn arranged by the very famous jazz pianist Thelonious Monk called Abide With Me, and then we went into a blues that was inspired by Grant Green. And on solos for that, we had Carlos, Haran, Leonard, and myself. Next we're going to switch it up and play some light swing called Satin Doll, and this was written by Duke Ellington. Hello?
Okay. Again, that song was Satin Doll, and we had Steve, and we also had Lenny and Lily. The next song, we are doing more of a funkier tune, and it's called Do It Again by Steely Dan.
Good evening, everybody. I appreciate you guys all for coming. And this song that we're gonna play, we're gonna lay it a bit more back. It's also called Mercy, Mercy, Mercy.
Hello? Okay. We're gonna end our set with a different tune than what you've heard, with a Latin tune. It's called Caramba by Lee Morgan. On that last chart, though, we had Haran Solon and Lenny Solon.
Combo 2, come on up. Yep. I am now going to turn the microphone over to combo number 2 and their director, Mr. Daniel Alves. Hello.
Ooh. Good evening. So this is the Alves combo. I just recently took over this group from a former colleague who moved on to conduct that at a different high school. In the short amount of time that we had a couple of rehearsals, and a couple weeks ago they were like, hey, would you like to do the Christmas concert? We were like, no, they said if you want to do the jazz concert. I was like, yeah, the one in April, right? They're like, no, the one in December. I was like, oh, sure. I asked them, they said, hey, we're down to do it. They put in the work for it, so we're just going to share some songs with you today. So first up we have today is going to be Christmas Time Is Here. The arranger is by a guy named Laney. This is a Vince Guaraldi classic. You hear this every single time. Think Charlie Brown. You're going to be in the summer, in a nice winter cozy mood. So, are we set up? Cool. So I'll leave it up to them. I'm going to go off to the side. This is Alice Combo. Christmas Time Is Here. Thank you. They really wanted to do an introduction mid-song. So, first, clarinet. We have Nathan. On alto sax, we have Rickson. Also on alto sax tonight, joining us as our alto sax 2, we have Andrew. On trumpet, we have Clayton. Also assisting us tonight as our trumpet 2, we have Haran back on stage. Trombone, we have Matthew. Our rhythm section. On keys, Logan. On bass, once again, she has a busy night tonight, Lily. And of course, we have our drum set, Larson's. This is Christmas Time Is Here.
Thank you. That was Christmas time. The next. All right. The next song is the Christmas song, or otherwise known as Chestnuts Roasting. And this is arranged by Grant Rupley. And on the Christmas time, we had me first solo and Logan Lynn first solo on piano. We also had Matthew and Andrew first solo.
Hello. Hi. So for our next song, we're gonna have a more fun one. It's called Santa Baby. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, a 54 convertible to light blue. I'll wait up for you, dear Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Think of all the fun I've missed. Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Next year I'll be just as good if you check off my Christmas list. Santa baby, I want a yacht, and really that's not a lot. Been an angel all year, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. That was Haran on trumpet. And Matthew on trombone. Clayton on trumpet. And this is Rickson on alto saxophone. Come and trim my Christmas tree with some decorations bought at Tiffany's. I really do believe in you. Let's see if you believe in me. Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing, a ring. I don't mean on the phone, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry Thank you, everyone. That was the Alps Jazz Combo. We're going to hand it over to Mr. Fantuccio and his jazz band.
guys got time. Thank you very much. This is the Brockton High School Junior Jazz Band. That first song you heard, you might recognize from the Polar Express. That one was called Hot Chocolate. Okay, we had quite a few solos on that one, 12 of them in total. I'm going to get through the names as quickly as I can. Try to hold your applause till the end. So our first solo, We're going to go rapid fire here, folks. Stand up. If you're not standing up, trumpets, give a wave when I say your name. That'd be great. Okay, so on trombone was Matthew Davichik. After I'm done, there were instructions. You got MCAS in like 3 months. Okay, so once again, on trombone, Matthew Davichik. On alto saxophone, Rickson DeBarros Medina. On trumpet, Ethan Salvador Ruiz Waiwa. I get it? Close enough? All right. On alto saxophone, also Carlos Arate Ruiz. On vibes, Edward Homer. On alto saxophone, Aiden Bryce. On trombone, Aiden Saintil. On tenor saxophone, Ava Webb. On trumpet, Joshua Rodriguez. On clarinet, Nathan Pombo. On guitar, Rylan Moss. And on trumpet, Nathan DeRosa. So have a hand for all our soloists. All right, so we're going to move it forward for the next part of our program. This is an adaptation of the song Silent Night. We hope you enjoy it. This is All Is Calm, All Is Bright. That was, there we go. That was Ethan Vong on the trumpet solo on that one. All right, so we have one more for our portion of the performance for you. A sort of Christmas classic, I think a lot of you probably will recognize, but done in a different way. This is a Latin chart arrangement of All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth. So we hope you enjoy it. Thank you again. Thank you. Real quick, solos on that one. On piano, Tice Cabral. Yep. Once again on trumpet, Ethan Vong. And again on trombone, Matthew Davichik. Thank you again. That will do it for our portion of the program. We are now going to hand it over to Mr. Cardell and the Senior Jazz Band. Thank you again.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, there it is. Thank you very much. That first piece is called O Schwingen Baum, which again is a play on the O Christmas Tree. That featured on soloist on guitar, Javier. On trombone, Chukwemeka. On vibraphone, Lenny. And on trumpet, Clayton and Haran. And the entire sax section on a killer soli. Thank you. We're gonna keep up with the traditional holiday music, and this one is called "Let It Snow." Thank you very much. That featured Andrew on alto saxophone. We're going to continue now with, not just because it's in the title, but it is actually one of my favorite things, one of my favorite songs for the holidays. This composer she is really starting to make a name for herself, both in the jazz world and also in the concert band world. I have a piece that we might do this year of one of her concert band pieces as well. She's out of Florida, and her name is Michelle Fernandez, and this is her arrangement of My Favorite Things. Thank you. That featured Lenny on vibraphone. They probably went that way. I'll ad lib while you're doing that. What's Christmas without Mariah Carey? Right? Right? It's not Christmas. It's not Christmas. So I started, and I really hated to do this, but I was listening to Mariah Carey over the summer because I was writing this out, and I kept listening and listening and listening and listening, and it got to the point where I was like, I can't listen to Mariah Carey anymore. But then December 1st hit, and I have to listen to Mariah Carey again because it's Christmas time. So this is my very simple arrangement of All I Want for Christmas Is You. And this is going to feature Andrew and Haran out front here on Mariah Carey's famous song. Thank you. That also featured on top of Andrew and Haran playing out front here, Chukwemeka on trombone. Caleb on alto saxophone. Could you hear him? Was he loud enough? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Just making sure. Okay. And Clayton on trumpet. Okay. They want me to say that Lenny had a solo too at the beginning. We're going to continue now with another one. This one's from the 1950s. This is called "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree." you very much. Oh, there it is. Thank you. That piece was called I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, and that featured Andrew on alto saxophone. And Giancarlos and Lenny on a shared solo. And on the previous song, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, that featured Steve on tenor saxophone. And again, Caleb on alto saxophone. Before we finish our last song, and the last song for the concert, again, thank you all for coming on a Friday night. We started this tradition last year, and again, hopefully we can keep the holiday jazz. It's a nice way to get a little bit of a change of pace from the traditional holiday stuff that you hear. So speaking of which, we have two traditional holiday concerts next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Both of those concerts start at 7 o'clock. Again, you can get your tickets ahead of time if you want to down at the main office, or you can get tickets at the door. We're hoping to pack the house. The weather looks good. No snow days in the forecast, except for Sunday at the Patriots game, which I'm going to. Go Pats. So we're going to finish our portion of the concert with another great arrangement. This is Joy to the World. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and we hope to see you twice next week. Thanks.